Good morning. It's Friday morning, and today we read Luke 9, verses 7 through 9. Now, Herod the Tetrarch heard about all that was happening, and he was perplexed because it was said by some that John had been raised from the dead, by some that Elijah had appeared, by others that one of the prophets of old had risen. Herod said, John I beheaded, but who is this about whom I hear such things? And he sought to see him. So it's interesting that suddenly Herod is aware of Jesus. Jesus is out there in the countryside and the villages and sending his disciples out into more villages, but he's made a splash apparently because his rumors about his work have gotten to Herod. And Herod's kind of superstitious. Herod killed John the Baptist at some point, but could this be John come back? Herod doesn't really buy that. Could this be one of the old prophets who's resurrected? And Herod's not really buying all that stuff, but he wants to meet Jesus. He's interested, and of course he does meet him the night that Jesus is tried. So his interest continues until it is finally satisfied. So Herod is there are a bunch of Herods. There's father and son and nephews and grandsons. The family name is Herod, so they're all called Herod. There's Herod Antipas and Herod the Great and Herod something else. There's a bunch of Herods there, and they divide up what we know as Israel into sections. So one rules in Jerusalem, somebody else is the tetrarch of the Galilee area. Tetrarch, I think, is a word that's used when they divide something into four parts, and so he's head of a fourth of Israel. But I don't know where the boundaries of those tetrarchies were. And for a while, one of them was ruled by Philip, who was like the brother-in-law of the Herods. So it's all in the family. And Herod is the ruler. Herod is looking to see who this Jesus is. He'll be very scared of Jesus when Jesus claims to be king. And Jesus never actually says, I'm the king, move over. But Herod hears it that way, and Herod is worried if Jesus is popular and he tries to take my kingdom, what'll happen to me? I better get rid of him before he leads a revolution, before he takes the kingdom away from me. And that's Herod's mindset. So Herod is into this whole affair for power. And Herod looks at Jesus as a threat to his power. Jesus is kind of always a political threat, viewed from the position of power. They're scared of him. He's not really a political actor. He doesn't really want to take over the kingdom, but he is a political actor in the sense that what he says is always, it has political implications. And so Jesus is ultimately, of course, the king of the universe. And so, he's king. But what does that mean for Herod, for Pilate, for the Romans, for us? It means something different. So Herod is perplexed and confused. Who is this Jesus guy, and what is it that he wants? We don't know. Ponder that today and ponder what it means for Jesus to be our king. We live in a democracy far away from the places where Jesus was, long time after Jesus lived. So what does it mean for him to be our king? And if you say, well, he's our spiritual king, what does that actually mean? Now think about, put some concrete on that. What does it say? It's kind of hard to figure out sometimes, Well, do the best you can with that. We'll see you tomorrow on Saturday morning. Have a great Friday.